So, first, I want to thank everybody, the captains and others who have said really nice things thus far. You know, this is a night to say a lot of thank yous and to honor a lot of people who have given a lot of heart and soul to this program, some of them over many years, and many just over this past year. There are a lot of things that I could say about this season. I can tell you that when I was going home on the bus last night, I've been really fortunate to be a part of a lot of great teams here at Nobles over the course of my time. I have never felt more satisfied than I did last night, for a whole bunch of reasons. For the ups and downs, for being a team that graduated some legendary players last year, indoctrinated 7 new kids, almost half the team into the program, built throughout the course of the season to a point at which, you know, we always define ourselves as a great defensive team that can score the basketball. And to take 2 teams, one that's averaging 70 points a game on the season in Loomis and hold them to 39, one on Tabor yesterday who had been scoring in the mid-60s in the last 3 weeks and hold them to 39. We always say that defense is this symbolic representation of our kids having each other's back and being there for one another. The whole, you know, nobody in my family messes with a Gallagher piece. That's what we do on defense. That's the way that I was raised, and that's what we like to talk about as a team. I can tell you that, you know, I've had a lot of, just a lot of proud moments, and we'll talk about some of them tonight. But I've got to let the parents know that I think, to me, something really special happened today. I mean, everybody knows that this is my favorite part of my job, but I also love my bigger job. I love my athletic director's job. And one of my favorite things is seeing captains get up on the stage to announce New England Championship victories and things like that. And I get called up on the stage to get the trophy. And you know, I was saying to Liza today that I would argue that in my professional life, 4 of my favorite moments while I've been a coach have been when my captains get up on that stage and they've got that New England Championship trophy with them. And they say, we'd like to call up our coach and our athletic director, Alex Gallagher, to accept this trophy. Tonight, or this morning, when they did that, in honor of the effort that this team has put in, what this program stands for, and what is really a phenomenal accomplishment, the first Nobles team in history to win 4 consecutive New England championships, 700 people rose to their feet and applauded this team. I can tell you that faculty member after faculty member, the amount of people who were on Twitter yesterday following every second of that game, there might not have been a lot of people in the stands, but there were a lot of people with us in spirit. And I think a lot of bounces went our way last night, and I think it had a lot to do with those folks being in the room with us. I am so proud of this team. I really, really am, to a point of pretty tremendous emotion that you'll see come out tonight, I'm sure. But I have to begin with some thank yous. Unlike Jamie, if I didn't thank Liza, I'd get my ass kicked. Liza and I...
Actually, now you will.
Yeah.
Liza and I joke that the measurement of how the season goes is we're now several seasons into this together, and there was not a single at-home meltdown during the course of the entire basketball season. I might have just inspired one.
Why, her or you?
There have been a number of times in the last couple of weeks where I've made a point of going to Liza and letting her know, really in a very heartfelt way, that having 4 kids and doing this job and being AD, but really during basketball season is quite challenging for my wife and for a really wonderful mother. And the support that Liza gives me, the fact that she enables me to be a part of this and to give as much to it as I do, both to Liza and our kids. I'm just incredibly grateful, and I love her so much. And through ups and downs during the season, having a best friend to go home to all the time who you can talk to and is going to be supportive but is also going to hear you out, you can't survive a job like this without that in my mind. So I love her very much. When your captains set a motto for the team of FOE, family over everything, that's right. You know, the truth is that you can really only pull off family if you've got a bunch of kids who know what it's like to be a part of great families. I am so appreciative. You know, we take all these trips and go on all these road trips and we talk all the time. I never care about how many people are in the stands. I really don't. I've said to our kids before, all I care about is game times, what's going on between those blue lines on the court. For us, as long as our families are there, that's all I ever care about. In an amazing way, like so many other Nobles teams, the effort and the time and the resources and the energy that you put into supporting the girls on this team as we go through a very, very long and demanding season is really quite incredible. And I appreciate all that you do for this program, for our school. I appreciate all that you do for your kids. You have raised wonderful young women, and Jamie and Kim and I have been given the great privilege of being able to work with them. And so on behalf of the coaches and the kids, huge gratitude towards the parents in this program. So thank you very much. When we won the Rivers game at Rivers,
yeah, we did! Yeah, we did!
When we won the Rivers game that mattered, which I liked. We went into the locker room, and kids will tell you that after every game we go in and we talk about game balls and different things like that, and we honor kids who have really done a great job. And the kids will tell you that the first thing I did was point out that if we did not have Kim Benson and Jamie Gallagher on our bench, we would not have won that game. Many of you saw during the course of that game that at critical moments, I, as a 18-year veteran head coach, feel more than comfortable giving the dry erase board to Kim and saying, Kim, we need this play for this shot, draw it up and point us in the right direction. And we go out and we execute it and it works. And we put Jamie down there with the whiteboard as well, and we say we need an inbounds play that's going to work right now, and he draws it and we execute it and it works. The kids see us. We are 3 head coaches. That can be combustible at times. And the truth is that what we have accepted and that has made us all 3 better coaches, that I cannot tell you what a better coach I am because I work with Jamie and Kim, is we challenge each other almost every day about the way that we're going to play, the best approach, the buttons to push on kids to get the most out of them. I very humbly say there is no better coaching staff around. This is a coaching staff that has close to 35 to 40 years of basketball experience as head coaches, 3 people who love kids immensely, have a tremendous passion for the game of basketball, and give everything they've got. There are a lot of great basketball players in our program, and interestingly, they play for me about 4 months a year, and most of them play for Kim 8 months a year. And I think a huge part of why they're such great basketball players is because they play with Kim 8 months a year. I will not go into it too emotionally because, Katie talked about it, and some of the other kids have talked about it as well. Through ups and downs and moments that you fight about basketball stuff and things like that, the lessons that Coach Benson taught kids on this team and coaches about strength and commitment and love and inner fortitude and the ability to rise above tough times and find ways to give everything you've got to people that you really and truly care about. The lessons that Kim taught with the grace that she dealt with some really tough times and in staying committed to this team 100% and never missing anything, to be there for her daughter and other kids who consider her a mother figure in their life, was really quite exceptional. It is a privilege to coach with her. She's made me a better person, a better dad, a better coach, better administrator, everything, because I seek her counsel and her advice, and she's always honest with me and always real, and I trust her immensely and feel so proud to have her as a part of this program. So, Coach, I got a present for you. I just realized that I was writing an inscription in the same book that I got Jamie, and I left it on my kitchen table. So thankfully, we live 50 feet from each other. People talk a lot about. Jamie was working on his shtick tonight for like 3.5 months. Little note card during practices, stuff like that. So what I would say, and we'll talk about with individual kids, is that from the day Jamie's joined our staff, all we do is win multiple championships. Jamie could be a head coach at any school in any program. He's an exceptional coach, an exceptional student of the game. What I would argue is that in the last few years, what has taken our program to an entirely different level is how balanced we've become between perimeter play and post play. And several years ago when we brought Jamie on staff, Jamie's job was to develop our post players. And when you see the improvement in a bunch of the kids, from Alex to Annie to Fink to Vanessa, who worked with them a lot this year, to Charlotte and Ashley, who worked with them a lot this year, this man's a great coach and develops great basketball players. But on top of all of that, and you know, Amy mentioned this during her remarks about him, I mean, what a great dad and husband and friend, so loyal and committed. This is the type of person who you want to have kids be around, because you can't help but be a better person for being around him and having him be a part of your life. I cannot put into words how much respect I have for him as a man, and the lessons that I think he shows people on every day about how to just go about being a good and trustworthy person. He is a huge influence on this program, has made me a better coach, a better dad, a better husband, all of those things because of the model that he sets. And I'm really grateful to continue to have him on the staff and to consider him such a good friend. So Jamie, thank you. Now I'd like to just quickly run through the kids in this program. And for several years, and I can't remember it, I think we continued to do it sort of when Sophie was first with our program several years ago, is that on an annual basis I chose a children's book to give to the kids on the team that to me sort of represented what the season had been about. You know, I talk lots of things about my own personal family, both growing up and my family that I have now. People know that the most formative figure in my life was definitely my mother. One of her favorite children's books was Harold and the Purple Crayon, and I know that many of you have read this book when you were kids. The reason my mother always talked about Harold and the Purple Crayon and why she loved it when we were growing up, and you know, I was the oldest of 6, and she would use lessons from it all the time, and it was always that she believed that if you put your mind to it and you dreamed it and you could imagine it and you can draw it, you can make it come true. And for her, Harold and the Purple Crayon was always this story that was representative of that. This was a season where we're coming off, you know, however many wins in a row. We had won a whole bunch of championships. We graduated some great kids. We brought in some great kids. We added great kids to the program. And what we do every year is we say we're really proud about the history of this program. But every team writes its own chapter in the book that tells the story of this great program over the course of the last 35 years. And from day one, I have never had a team that so instantly loved each other, clicked, and were devoted to each other, both on and off the court, as this group was. They took that purple crayon and over the course of 4 months drew something pretty beautiful that ended up with 3 weeks of tremendous love at the end of this season between our kids in critical moments, tremendously hard work, and some incredible basketball being played at the time of the year where you need to be playing your best basketball. We started the season hot with a lot of intimidation on a lot of people that made them cower. There were a few cracks in the process as we went, and then we made a decision after the morning after that Tilton game that we were going to do things differently, and we were going to get after it in a new way. And 13 consecutive wins later, and an ISL championship and another New England championship, all the credit goes to the kids in this program and the work and the love that they gave to each other over the course of it. And I can tell you that at the end of that book, in this chapter, as I wrote in a letter that's in each of the books, it's a pretty beautiful ending, I can tell you that much. I want to begin by talking about one very special kid first. We have some awards to give out and different things like that, and we'll go through it as quickly as possible because that's your finale. But I love the show more than Liza.
He talks about politics and ethics.
That's right. So the first kid I want to talk about is we have had a long-running tradition, 14 years long, of bringing non-players, students into the program who have a massive impact on the feel of the community and the family that we have within our program. There are 2 really great decisions that as I look back on this season I feel incredibly proud of. One I'm going to talk about later, which has to do with the decision to make Sam a captain. But the first and the earliest big decision I made was pitching it to Olivia Gomez that she become our manager. You know, in this model, we've had girls who have done this job and boys that have done this job, and there have been varying levels of, they've all been successful, but it's all been a different model, left and right and everything. Olivia is a committed lacrosse player who really works at her game. She's one of these kids who in this day and age could easily say, you know what, the basketball thing's a big commitment. I really got to work on my lacrosse. I got a big recruiting season coming up, all this different stuff. But instead, she made an immense time commitment to this team and to this family, and as a result became an incredibly important part of this family. As I said to Olivia just a couple days ago, she's as big a part of this as any kid who steps on the floor, because the model she sets for everybody else, by the commitment she puts on, and she's not putting that uniform on, she's not stepping on the floor, she's not seeking minutes, she just wants to be a part of a championship and she wants to be a part of this family. I said to Olivia last night when we got back to the gym, I said, Ogo, really hope we can count on you for 2 more years. And she said, if you'll have me back, I can't wait. And I can tell you. So, she did lose our game book. which she left at Loomis last night. I told her it was no big deal. It's a big deal. It's no big deal at all. They've already found it in their mailings. But the kids in this program will tell you, and the parents who've gotten to know her, this is a spectacular kid, and we're really proud to have a part of the family. So Olivia, come on. There's this great story about, I don't remember how many years ago. Bridget, how many years ago was it when you made the trip with us down, where's Bridget? The trip with us down to Loomis.
3, 2.
3.
No.
Like Sophie was a senior.
So it was the year we won, right? The year was in the finals.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember this moment several years ago, we'll just put it at that, where Maya had been our manager for most of the season. We were heading down to Loomis to face off with Rivers for a New England championship game. And I remember we asked Bridget if she wanted to make the trip with us. And like a kid going to Disney for the first time, she was like, Bridget, in years of coming to our camp and in years of having her older sister be a really important part of this program, I've been counting down the days, just as Bridget has been counting down the days until she can be a part of this program. Bridget and the Musfer family, every one of us here who knows them and loves them knows there's a secret sauce in that family that really works. I don't know what it is, but it really works. And Bridget has become a much better basketball player, but she, just like the rest of her family, an exceptional teammate, an exceptional person, somebody who adds a tremendous amount to the joy and the love and everything that we have in this family every day. I was so excited to have the moment when I could tell Bridget that she had made this team, so excited that she'll be with us for the next 3 years, and know that with every passing year, she, like her sister and like so many kids like Bridget, will play an increasingly important role in the tone and culture of this team. She was a perfect freshman to have in this program, and we loved having her. So Bridget, I'll tell you who in the last, I would say, couple weeks really showed what is going to be, I think, an increasingly huge contribution to this program. One of our smartest and I think most improved basketball players is definitely Charlotte McDonald. And Charlotte is somebody who, in sort of a critical team meeting, was pretty honest about how she was playing and how she was feeling about her play, and all of a sudden she found herself in a room full of kids who were saying, we believe in you, we know that you can do this, we know you can attack, we know you make great decisions, we know you've got a great and high basketball IQ, so on and so forth. And from that moment on, with the sort of belief of her teammates in place, she got more and more inspired, more confident, and I think in both the Loomis game, where she played critical minutes for us on Saturday, the look in her eye on Saturday after the game when I looked at her and I said, Charlotte, be ready for tomorrow because you're going to play pivotal minutes for us against Tabor. And her eyes got super wide. All right. And then she goes out yesterday and just played awesome basketball in some big moments. Makes great decisions, is a phenomenal athlete, a great kid, a great family kid, and somebody who I know this team means a lot to her, and she means a lot to this team, and she's going to be a huge part of our program for the next 3 years. You know, we have, and some of the kids comment on it, we have pretty high standards in terms of the intensity and the work ethic that we demand from our kids. It took a month to sort of beat it into Alex Mom when she was a sophomore. But I can tell you that every once in a while you bring in a new kid who really raises the bar and who brings such an intensity, such a work ethic, such a determination to be great and give everything she's got every second of every day. Nobody on our team works harder than Ashley Ducharme. Nobody. Every sprint, every drill, every second that she's on the floor, there is never a time that you see her jog from baseline to baseline ever. She is in a full sprint, running as hard as she possibly can and putting pressure on defense or offense every second that she can be out there. She is an exceptional athlete, a tremendously hard worker, an incredible friend, daughter, kid, everything. The type of person that you want your own kids, both her age, older and younger, to be around because of the model she sets every day just about being a good kid. And the type of kid that you want people to know your program to be about. Ashley is going to be a big-time basketball player for us. She had some huge moments this year. Those moments will increase exponentially in her sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything she's given us. I've waited 14 years to coach my kid. I've waited 14 years to coach my kid. I think most people know. I do not have a mentality for youth sports. And so I was smart enough to stay away from it. But you know, I've never been in a position like this before when I've had to talk about my kid in front of lots of people. You know, she's an awesome kid. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so grateful for all the people in her life who have helped to raise her. That includes a lot of basketball players, basketball coaches, parents, friends, other family members, stuff like that, who have helped to raise a really exceptional person. Maya is an exceptional teammate. She is somebody who does not care about how many minutes she gets or the situation she's in. All she cares about is this team being successful. And for many, many years, I've watched her as she has been this shy young kid sort of living on the outskirts of our program. And as she got a little bit older, you know, she would start to step in a little bit more and a little bit more. And I've got to say that during the course of the season, I did everything I could to, on a day in, day out basis, including every once in a while, ripping her like I do everybody else, occasionally. You know, there was this moment where all of a sudden I left the gym on Friday of this week, and I was sitting in the chairs outside, and one thing I never do is I pretty much never watch the team do the dance till you raise me up. And it's because it does, honestly, it makes me very emotional. But I was sitting with Kennedy, who wanted to watch, and she's sort of playing this Maya role now, of increasingly becoming part of the team and torturing members of the team. But I was sitting in a chair outside and I was watching the dance. And to see my kid in a practice uniform, getting ready to play for another championship on Saturday and Sunday, and to watch her be part of that dance and part of this family, I really can't put into words what it felt like, and how emotional I got about it, how appreciative I am for her for all the work she's done, and the fact that, you know, she's not afraid to say hi to me in the hallways yet.
Politics and
So
ethics.
anyways, that's right. So anyways, we love each other a lot. I'm incredibly proud of her and really grateful to have her as my kid, have her as one of our players, and have her as somebody who models what's really great about the Nobles basketball family. So Maya, come on up here. We talked about Ashley's work in terms of sort of raising the bar, in terms of how hard she was working. I'll tell you this, a real glue kid in this program, a kid who is going to be able to do for us in the next couple of years multiple things that we need people to do as we lose people like Alex Mon and Sammy and other kids in the junior class next year. A really talented, super hard-working kid who's in the right place at the right time, almost all the time. Makes big plays this year when we called on her to do it. Got increasingly solid offensively and defensively as the season went along. Is the work that Vanessa did for us this year. Who I know jokes about having spent lots of time with her father, saying to her, "Pay attention to Alex Mon." But Vanessa is that type of player for us. She's a kid who plays bigger than she is, can play smaller than she is, can rip a huge rebound, can make a big stop, can be in the right place to get an offensive rebound and put it back up and in. There are moments she ends up in space, you don't know how she got there or how she got the ball or how she finishes from there, but she just does. She is in the right place at the right time. And what I know, as you know, the Ferrara family travels like in flocks. All this stuff. But when we talk about kids who know and understand family and what that commitment looks like, nobody understands it better than Vanessa and the model that her parents and her brothers have set for. And what I know for a fact is that the boys are at all Vanessa's games and Vanessa's at all the boys' games, and they get what it is as a family. And it's played a huge part in this program. And with every passing week, she has gone from a quiet influence to a mild influence, to a louder influence, to a laughing influence, to a loving influence. I cannot tell you how excited I am to watch her develop over the course of the next 2 years, and how much we appreciate her work ethic, her commitment, and her determination to really make us a great program. So Vanessa, come on up. She has double jointed shoulders. What are you gonna do? So here's the scene that I witnessed last night as I'm getting ready to go home, that I think is really telling of an exceptional character that we've added to our program. We're packing up, we're getting stuff ready to go. It's been a nice bus ride home. All of us are sort of exhausted. And I'm walking out of my office and I look out to the bench area in front of the trophy case. And laying on the bench, sort of curled up, covering her face, is Caroline Freeman. Is Caroline Freeman, who's on this bench, and she's crying, and I know she's crying because it's over. And I can tell you that during the course of this season, there is no kid who has brought more into family and more into the ethic that we care about and the commitment that we care about in this program than Caroline Freeman. She is also arguably the most improved basketball player over the course of the season that we maybe have in this program. From a kid who was very anxious going out on the floor early on in the season to a kid who couldn't wait to get on the floor and rip threes and go at defenses. You know, one thing that we struggle with, and it drives the coaches crazy, is there are times that, you know, we see other coaches who are leaving their starters in until the final buzzer goes so that the score doesn't look so lopsided, or they compare stats and things like that. And what I love about Caroline Freeman is that she loves torching those starters who think that they're going to be out there to close that gap and score points and all this different stuff, and Caroline refuses to do it. Caroline's from an exceptional family. This year, those of us in this program have learned a lot more about the incredible relationship between Caroline, her brothers, this family. It is an incredible story that, as I said to her parents earlier today, I'm not sure that Maya talks about Jonah, Kennedy, and Seamus. But whenever I listen to Caroline talk about them, all you can do is hope that your kids love each other as much as these kids do. I really love and respect this kid. I feel so blessed to have been able to get to know her so much better this season. I can't wait to coach her for the next two, and I'm really proud to have her a part of this program. Very few kids work. Very, very, very few kids that I've known in a long time very quietly have become more beloved than our wonderful Addie Mitchell.
Hell yeah!
Kim has done great things with Addie's shot. It still includes a horse step. Addie, I can tell you, is Addie's one of the most unselfish. Addie's one of the most unselfish and wonderful kids I've gotten to know in my time at Nobles. She is just an exceptional person. She is one of those unselfish kids that what she cares about above all else is helping her teammates be prepared and be successful. She works her tail off every day, no matter what the drill is. But I can tell you that the greatest example, which I don't mean to say as sort of a sad thing, because we'll touch on it later on, but easily one of the most touching scenes I've seen this year is when Addie found out about Sam's injury. It was right out in front of my office, and Addie had trouble putting words to it and couldn't do anything but become incredibly emotional because of how much she loves Sam, how much she loves teammates in general, how committed she is to the programs that she's in, and how committed she is doing everything she can to help put smiles on the faces of the kids that she spends every day with. I can't wait to watch Addie out on the lacrosse field this spring, but what I know is that one of the core elements that makes us great are people like Addie Mitchell, who every single day push the Katies and the Julias and the Camille's and others to be great every day. She drives them crazy defensively in a way that almost no opponent does. And that's what makes us ready on game day. And we're incredibly proud of her, incredibly proud to have her in this program. So
You read her contact follow-up.
So one thing, and what I'm about to say, I know I say on behalf of every kid and coach that's a part of this program. Okay, and I'll say it'll be, for me, it's an emotional thing. Okay? We are so proud of you. Years in it now in this program, there's never been a leap in 1 year from the next like what Maya family did. There really has never been, and I'll tell you, it's not just a basketball leap, it's a personal leap. It's the presence she now has as a leader in our program, in the alcoves, in the classroom, on the bus going to games, on the sidelines, everything. Fink has become somebody who people, both literally and figuratively, look up to because of the effort that she's put in. I can tell you that today we had a lot of great conversations with a lot of coaches who were college coaches who were at that game yesterday. And many of them want to call and talk about multiples of our kids, okay? But the number one kid that everybody saw yesterday, who's on the brink of that recruiting period, was Maya Finkley. And what I was able to do to each of them, with every one of those coaches, is to say, You have no idea how much better she's gotten in a year. You have no idea how much better she is going to get. And you have no idea what an exceptional kid this is and what a hard-working kid this is. All of us who have been here, some in AAU, some in our program for the last couple of years, the development has just been incredible. I thought she absolutely dominated. The big kid from Tabor yesterday. I say that, you know, whenever I talk to college coaches, I say the thing that she and Alex both do, but Fink really emerged with it this year. You don't see a lot of girls who explode up off the floor and elevate above other kids in girls basketball to rip rebounds, and that's what Fink does. She wants that ball, she's determined to get it, and she's going to take you out if you try and get it from her. You know, at the end of yesterday's game, nobody was more beaten up than mine. What I do know is that we get 2 more years of watching a big-time Division I talent emerge and develop, and I am really grateful that we have Maya Finkley on our roster. In the loss of kids last year like Lauren Dillon and Kate Kerrigan, one of the big questions we had was, where are we going to get defensive stops from? And it was pretty clear early on in the season that Camille Walter was going to be that kid for us. My favorite story about Camille, which actually pisses everybody on the team off, but I will tell it because it's worth telling, is that Cam had been out of sports for like 3 months. She hadn't been able to play volleyball, she couldn't really do much at all because she had an injured back, and so she gets cleared to play. She's been physically inactive for 3 months. She gets cleared to play, we go out and do a 2-minute test, and she buries everybody on the team. And kids were furious. But on top of that, the next game she plays is the Tabor game, where she comes off the bench, she hits 3 threes, she makes big stops, she leads us to a 71-57 win, second leading scorer on the team that day to Katie, off the bench, and just a huge influence. Cam is not the loudest kid in the world, she's not the boldest kid in the world, but I'll tell you this, when she's on your side, you'll like it a lot better when she's in your uniform than she's in somebody else's uniform. I really think in the last few weeks of this season, we saw Cam emerge as the great basketball player that she can be. This is a kid who is going to play college basketball. She's determined to do it, and we're going to get her a great fit because she can absolutely play at that level. And we're excited to watch her continue to develop as a player. She is a very strong, yet quiet, but very strong presence on this team who just shows up and does her job every single day. And we love having Camille be a part of our program. So there are lots of things that as one season ends and you move towards another season that you think about. There's no doubt you could point to Fink's development as a player and other kids' developments as players as keys to us being where we were when we faced Rivers a few weeks ago and when we faced Tabor yesterday. I would argue the most important piece of the puzzle that we added was Julia Ford. The reason that I say that is that you know, this is a kid who is a gym rat, loves to be in the gym, loves to play the game of basketball, is a student of the game of basketball, loves the X and O's of it, loves the team part of it. But we knew that with what we were graduating, we needed that kid who, when everybody's focused on Katie, we need another decision maker on the floor who will make good decisions for us. There's no doubt that for any junior, the transition into a brand new school with much different academic expectations and different friends and everything like that is not an easy transition. But what all of us saw by about the midpoint of this season is all of a sudden our program clicked for Jules and Jules clicked for our program. And when you look back on the big games that we played down the stretch, she made great decisions, big shots, big stops, big rebounds, was there with a smile on her face, as happy to be down at practice as anybody else in the gym, as happy to be in the schoolhouse with this family as anybody else in this program. She bought in, and as a result, we won championships because of her presence and because of her being such a big contributor to our team. We love this kid to death. I am so proud to be her coach and so proud. I'm really proud to announce, we voted for captains, and obviously we're bringing two great captains back in Amy and Katie. I'm really proud to announce in an overwhelming way, Annie Blackburn will be the third captain. Annie has been a really devoted member of this team over the course of the last 3 years now. And has become really, and as you can tell from kids casting votes for this leadership position, has really become a beloved member of this program from various kids. And there are lots of kids in this program, and we open it up to all grades who would be great, great captains. Annie's going to be an exceptional captain for us. She loves the game of basketball. She loves the kids on this team. She loves how much she can be committed to them and they can be committed to her. She just loves it. Annie is going to be a great leader for us, working with Amy and Katie next year as we try and achieve big things again. Having her at the helm and having her help us with that leadership will be essential. She's become a better player with every passing year, played her best basketball for us in the last few weeks of the season, especially highlighted by her work against Julia Thistle in the Rivers game, and just did an exceptional job for us. And we're really proud of her and proud that she'll wear that C for us next year. So Annie. There are, and I've talked about it in this venue, in this sort of discussion before. I feel so lucky to have such great relationships with people in this room and with kids in this room. I will say that aside from maybe my own kid, the kid for whom I have a relationship that's about my responsibility to her and her responsibility to me, more than anybody, is Doug's. Doug's and I have sort of worked together and been together since the day that she showed up at our camp now, 3.5 years ago. She is a two-sport junior captain. She is the kid who, when people need to smile, she makes them smile. When people need to laugh, she makes them laugh. And what I love is that when we really got challenged and when everything sort of hit the fan and we were wondering about how great we could be, the kid who really went to another level in the last few weeks of the season was Amy Duggan. Big shot after big shot, huge rebounds, great defensive moments. Everybody is excited about where Amy is going to end up at college. I believe that Richmond, while they're excited to have her, has no idea how great she could become. But all in all, I know that other people feel the same way. I just love being associated with this kid. She drives me crazy. Donna and I are in a support group.
Yeah, Maya and I are in a support group. And Liza. We love this young woman, and we love the fact that day in and day out she loves us back as much as we love her. She's been a great leader for us. She's grown a tremendous amount as a person, as a captain, as a player, and I believe next year we'll see play that's just off the charts as she continues to develop. We love her to death, and we love having her be a part of what we're doing. So we have 3 awards that we give. 2 of them are school awards. One is the Richard Nickerson Award. For those of you who don't know who Mr. Nickerson is the godfather of the basketball program. He's the one who led it from the 80s until the mid-90s. won a lot of championships. So much, I respect and admire him so much. The fact that he's at so many of our games, especially down the stretch, travels to Loomis yesterday, tears in his eyes, just like Nickerson always is. And the Nickerson Award goes to an underclassman, whose competitive spirit and commitment to basketball has made the biggest impact on the program. There are certain awards that are no-brainers. This one's a no-brainer. We are a great team. A great team. We are deep. You got to cover every kid who hits the floor. You got to play. But the truth is that for many, many years now, and really this year in a big way, the fact is we have Katie Benson and nobody else does. I told the story to the kids, and I think it's a valuable one for parents to have. When you vote for All League at the ISL meeting, everybody does all their All League voting. I've been lucky to have kids in the past who have been sort of in the MVP running. They finish All League and then they say, okay, let's talk about MVP. And every year the minimum number of candidates I've seen have been 4. There are always 4. People feel like, even if they don't think they'll win, but they just want to discuss them. And every year it's been that way. So this year they say, okay, let's take nominations for MVP, and I raise my hand and I say Katie Benson, and our league secretary writes it down on the board. And then she says, okay, other nominations. Really, as a tremendous sign of respect for Katie, not a single other kid was nominated. Not one. When you think about the power of that, you've got, Rivers has a great season. Bob Pipe could put Kristen Daly up there or other kids up there and try and make that case. He knows that they wouldn't have won, but he could have done it. And what he knew was that Katie was so far and away the best player in our league that it was disrespectful to even put somebody else up on that board with her. Katie finishes her junior year at about 1,640 points for her career.
Did you add it up from the book?
I had to call Loomis. They could send me the stats. So they had the book. So she's at about 1,640 points. She will very quickly next year, knock on wood, become the 2nd leading scorer in the history of the league, in the history of Nobles. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed. She gives Ayla a run down the stretch. Yep. But the fact is, you watch a game like yesterday, and you think to yourself, okay, well, somebody's going to press you all the time. They're going to double team your point guard or triple team your point guard. You really need another ball handler. We don't. The ability for them, the inability of them to be able to corral her and to sort of keep her in space, they couldn't do it. And as a result, they couldn't defend us. And what I love so much about Katie is not the fact that she is never outwardly arrogant. She is never somebody who out there on the floor is cocky. She goes about doing her job. I so respect. I talked to Lindsay Hallion, the Harvard assistant who watches yesterday's game yesterday and floats back to Cambridge. But the truth is, what Lindsay has said to me is that her favorite thing about Katie is that her facial expression never changes. No matter how she's being attacked, no matter how they're coming at her, the facial expression is always the same. This kid is what she is because she has outworked everybody. And that type of person that you come across, you can't help but respect, admire, and love them. I said last year and I'll say it this year, Katie's the best basketball player I've ever coached in my life. Everyone I coach against hates that she's got another year. I'm not joking, 6 emails today from other coaches who are writing to congratulate and encouraging Katie to accelerate because they wanted to get Harvard. And I said, I hope that doesn't happen. But the truth is, this kid is an MVP in every single way. She's been a great captain for us, an incredibly hard worker for us, and it's a real privilege and honor, I know, for her teammates to be her teammate and for her coaches to be her coaches. So, Katie, okay, last 2. The Seedale Cup is a long-standing Nobles Award that goes to the senior who's made the largest contributions to the basketball program. It's a pretty easy one that Alex Mon deserves this award. I don't know many people in life more talented than Alex. I really don't. It's to a point at which it pisses people off. But I will tell you something that I thought was very powerful. I mean, you could go on and on about her exceptional play, her maturity, her commitment, the time she pours into every area of her life, from the arts to her schoolwork to her basketball, how lucky Yale is to be getting, you know, Jen Hines says to me every day, give me 50 Alex Mons. You know, Alex, you keep bringing me Alex Mons, it's all I need. All I need are Alex Mons. She is everything that I believe Nobles really prides itself on. And I think that in the last few years, as she's emerged as a leader in our program, to have her at many moments up on stage and other places be the face of our program, along with Katie and Amy and Sammy and other kids like that, is something that is really quite prideful. What I will tell you is that I think that a big part of the standing ovation today came from Alex's performance of You Raised Me Up last week. And the reason that it is the case is that for a long time, people have wondered, like, what is it about girls basketball that seems to make the feeling there's not a lot of drama within the team, we care about each other, we love each other, and we keep winning and we keep succeeding, and what's it all about? And Alex gets up on stage and she, I mean, just hits a home run singing this very challenging song. And everybody knows we do this dance. They don't really know what it's about. And all of a sudden, you know, Alex puts... Were you playing a violin or viola? Alex puts her viola down. Alex begins the song with her viola, playing masterfully. She puts it down and she hammers out the words to You Raised Me Up after telling the audience, this is dedicated to my basketball teammates, and this is the song that we dance to every night before a game. And what was amazing was not only was everyone except Vanessa, who doesn't cry, not only was everyone from our program really emotional about it, but it drew emotion from tons and tons of other people in that room. And all of a sudden, you saw that she had given this little window into what makes this group and our program really special. She was incredible. I mean, just incredible. All of us. I know someday I will say, I knew Alex Mond when. I think all of us feel that way. I give, with Dia, her sister, sitting here, I will say to Alex's mother, I know how hard she has worked to raise her son and to raise Alex and to raise Adia, as her son has had this incredible career at Notre Dame and in professional soccer, what she's done to support her daughter. What I can tell you is, and some of you know this story, but we talk a lot about why questions, what motivates us. And last year, one of the best moments of the entire year was when Alex said, I'm going to school for free for my mom. And what she did was go to Yale, which is close to free. It's still a little bit of money, I'm sure. Yeah. But I know lives her life in a way that makes her incredibly hardworking, an exceptional mom, really proud every single day. I feel so privileged to have been associated with her for the last 3 years. We're going to miss her immensely. She leaves a hole in the school, not just in our program, that many people will try and fill, but it's going to take a lot of people to fill that hole, because she has really, you talk about people who raise people up. This woman does it as well as anybody I've gotten to work with. So it's been a privilege and an honor, and I cannot wait to see what you do with the rest of your life. So, for a long time, I have said that what makes our program quite so special are not the Division I or the Division III college basketball players. What makes our program special are the other kids that work their ass off to be a part of it, and who love every second of it. I know that we're about to do something that will mean a lot to Sam. I think many people in this room know that 2 years ago, we made a decision as a coaching staff that we began giving something called the Sophie Musfer Prize. And the Sophie Musfer Prize was started to honor Sophie, who many of those of us who coached her and players who played with her would say that she was without question the finest teammate they had ever had. And now, on an annual basis, by a vote of the players, coaches don't cast these votes, it's all players. By a vote of the players, we select someone to receive the Sophie Musfer Prize. I know that the Musfer family means a lot to Sam, and Sam means a lot to the Musfer family. Last year when we gave this award, Melissa Moore won it. But one of the things we said is that there were, I think, 9 kids last year who got it. I'm almost 100% sure that Sam was unanimous, a unanimous person to get selection to get this award this year from her teammates. And I want to make something really clear because it's the honest to God truth. She would have been unanimous whether she got hurt or not. There's no doubt about it. As I've been able to lead this program for a long time, you make good decisions and bad decisions, decisions you wish you had gone differently, and decisions you are really proud of and feel good about. There is no better decision I've made as a coach in this program than making sure that partway through the season, Sam, who had earned it, became a captain in this program. It is kids like Sam that really make what we do special. It is not a surprise to me that our most inspired effort of the season came at Rivers on a Friday night when she had gotten hurt on Wednesday and diagnosed on Thursday. It is not a surprise at all. When you see how much this team loves each other, a huge part of that is because of the huge heart that Sam brings to it every single day that she's been a part of this program. Last year, she was sort of this, this tag-along who picked on Lauren Dillon and Lauren Dillon picked on her, and they had a sort of cute relationship. And this year, both in what she did in the soccer season and then what she did in the basketball season, is she made a determination that she was going to leave a legacy as a leader and as a person. Didn't ask to be named captain, didn't ask for any playing time, didn't ask for any of that. She just wanted to give everything she's got. Sam's a kid who's going to go down to Wake Forest, and she's going to have a great career. Wake Forest has no idea what an exceptional person they have accepted and what an incredible person and member of that community she's going to be. March 23rd, she's going to get that knee fixed, and we're all going to be that family that supports her and loves her through it in any way that we can. But what I know about Sam is that Sam is going to take from the adversity, learn from the adversity, and just like she has for the last 3.5 weeks, smile on her face, supporting the people that she loves, and doing the best she can to make sure that wherever she can be, as a lacrosse captain, as a senior, whatever, she will give everything she's got, because that's what Sam Jacobson does. So Sam is the Sophie Musfer recipient this year, and somebody really works very, very good. Comment is this: it's we're really lucky to have had 2 such great seniors in Sam and Alex who have led this program. And what I'll say is that during the course of the season, there are a lot of times that we'll be 16-3, and after a great 16th win, and I'll say 16-3 is great, but 17-3 is better. What I can tell you is 12 ISLs and 4 New Englands are great, but 13-5 is better. And that is absolutely where we're heading and what our goal will be, and we won't relent. And the way that we'll do it, many of the parents in this room have sat in my office and we've been trying to convince you to come to Nobles in the recruiting process. And what I can tell you is all of this stuff happened because the goal was not just about winning titles. The goal was what we say every year: a locker room full of crying kids after the last game, not because you won or lost, but because you don't get to go to practice together the next day. And that's what existed in that room yesterday. It's what makes us special. It's our secret sauce. And I'm so grateful to everybody here who buys into it, supports it, loves it, and is there for us as we go through those ups and downs. 13-5 is going to feel good because of how much we're going to love each other next year, just like we have in the past. So thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate it. Video time now?
Yeah.
Get out! I'm going to bed at 9. People are still here. Hey, Amy, open this thing up and stop blubbering. Open a window. Take a bio break if you need it. Let's see if this thing works.
No, but my friend keeps texting me and we're together saying, Oh, never mind, I lied. You're not getting up. Yeah, do you know how to
Call Sean Dillon.
No, I don't know anymore, but I'm just gonna travel.
Who's got the,
Check it out.
thing? The volume thing. Sit down.
I said he only had one thing to do. He couldn't even do it.
All right, listen. This is the first time this will actually be seen in its entirety because I was literally still working on it when everybody showed up. If it is messed up in any way, I blame, yeah, Amy.
Actually,
Is this gonna blow up naturally?
that was like, oh, here,
Is it up?
Ready, guys? We're starting it.